listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV Single Ladies After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV Single Ladies After Show.
All my single ladies, all my single ladies. Come on, you gotta join in. All my single ladies, all my single ladies. Hey guys, welcome. Fingers for doing, and we are here doing another great after show on AFTERBUZZ TV. This is the after show for Single Ladies. This is episode number 4, season 2, and it's called Deuces. Now, there was so much going on. We have so much juicy stuff to talk about. It just seemed like every character on the show was going through something that was
crazy.
just
Pretty dramatic.
Yes, we will just dive right in. Again, my name is Fallon. I'm one of the hosts. We have Miss Spicy Mighty over here.
Keeping it sizzling in the building.
We have a very, very special guest in the house. Ow. Her name is Laurel House, and she is the author of Quickie Chick's Cheat Sheets.
I am the quickie chick.
Welcome. Thank you so much for coming in.
For having
we're
me.
So excited to have you. Just even watching the show, we were able to, get some advice from you and talk about like all this dating stuff that
She's a dating expert.
Exactly. Like we're watching the show, but then we're asking dating advice to Laura, which is great.
That is generally what happens. I have an opinion about a lot of things, and I have
like
a problem expressing it.
And we would love to hear your opinion about the show. So let's jump right into it. Raquel, let's go to her. Now, we've seen Raquel before. She's the one that was divorced. Well, not divorced. She was engaged, and she just decided to call it off. And now we see her dating many, many, many types of men.
Yeah, every episode she's dating a different guy.
Now, this episode, she is dating a very younger man who happens to be Little Romeo, who you said you went to school with or something?
I didn't go to school with him, but he went to my high school. So he actually was there when my little sister was there.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because he is very young.
He's
So in
quite
this
young.
episode,
Yeah.
he was 20 years old.
Which, wow. I mean, he can't even drink.
Yeah. Now, when she had asked him, how old are you? And he said 20, she kind of hesitated, but she still went with it. And I'm like, how do you go from dating a man to a 20-year-old?
Well, he has the soul of a 35-year-old.
He did say that.
It's the cougar mentality. And I think a lot of chicks, especially when you're getting out of a relationship with a dude who's older, you want to just play. You want to have fun. And that's what she's doing.
Well, she even said, she was like, so I'm going to get immaturity, inconsistency. Oh, so this is like any other relationship I've dated. So she's kind of like, if I'm going to have a awkward or uncomfortable or drama relationship, at least let it be with somebody who I actually like and have passion with. That was Raquel's argument.
Well, it's about expectation. So you have to know what you're getting into when you're dating a dude who's in his 20s.
Yeah.
And it's probably not a commitment. It's probably that he just wants to play
good time.
and have a good time. And he is, if you want a boyfriend, I'm sorry. That is not him, generally speaking. But yeah, it's not him.
Well, Romeo is really cute, and I understand why she would be robbing the cradle.
Exactly. Can I say, he does not look as little anymore.
Well, I think
it's
he
just
dropped
Romeo.
the little
That's
off
what I was going
now.
to say. I think it's just Romeo. So he was looking a little grown and sexy, but
Oh, yeah.
I know in the episode later on, he kind of just messed up. He cooked well. She said
And
that.
vegan, which was
Yes,
interesting.
She's a vegan,
Yes.
so that was important. He listened.
Yes.
But then he kind of messed it up when he was at the club and he got into a fight and she was like, all right,
Yeah,
I'm dating
a child.
a little kid.
That's what it reminded her.
Yeah.
I'm being a cougar right now. I can't go out with someone who I have to worry about him being carded and doesn't even have the proper ID. He had a fake ID with him.
Can you imagine how embarrassing that would be if you show up, oh, your boyfriend has a fake, sorry, he can't get in the club.
Yeah, I don't think I could do
Horrified.
it.
Yeah.
I haven't ever dated younger. I think maybe 1 month max. And I feel Raquel though, because she's living in the moment. She's always had her family make decisions for her, and for the first time she was going with it and just going on a whim. But come on now. At some point, she's just got to say, can't do it. And we'll see her with another guy next episode,
but
probably.
She probably does need to have that detox time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this is right now. It's her detox. She's just going to have fun, and that's okay. But when she's ready to actually move forward again, then stop with the 20s, even the 30s, and just really, you know, land a solid guy.
So you believe you can't date a younger man and take it seriously?
Well, it depends. I think there are some younger guys who are experienced and who already are established with where they want to be in their life.
Yeah.
So they already are successful in their career. They've already checked off all of those things that guys feel they need to do before they can get serious. And once they have, then absolutely you can date a younger guy. He just has to be there mentally.
Yeah.
But in general,
If he's accomplished the things that he wants.
because guys have that checklist.
Yeah,
I can't get married until I make this much money, or I have a house and I have a whatever. So in general, yeah, guys in their 20s, they're just interested in screwing around.
Well, Steve Harvey, Act Like a Man, or no, think like a man. Think like a lady, act like a man. Or no, act like a lady, think like a man.
Yeah, that's it.
He says that same tip,
And I
in
totally
his book,
agree. Yeah.
and you agree with that.
I actually love that book, and I agree with a lot of what he
really?
says.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I tend to think a little bit like a guy.
Yeah.
And
You have to. You have to put yourself in their shoes.
you have to. I mean, even when it comes to getting over your ex, why do guys get over their exes so well? Because they move on and they start dating immediately, whereas girls sit and saturate in the
sulk.
drama and like,
true.
oh, they can't move on.
Yeah.
Break up, move on, start dating.
This is true. I know when we were talking in there, I had said something that a friend had said to me, and it really made sense. And you guys said that you agree that a woman, you know, when she's dating or when she gets married, she marries the right man, not necessarily the right time. But a man, he doesn't necessarily marry the right woman. It's
Yep.
the right time.
Right, exactly.
And that's what you're saying about the whole checklist. It's when they're ready, that's when they're going to marry.
And that's why you can't try and force a guy to marry you or get him to propose.
What would that be? An ultimatum?
It's an ultimatum.
It would.
And it doesn't work.
It's right, and it absolutely doesn't. But you know who else was getting ultimatums on this show was Omar and Keisha. But let's talk about Omar first. His Lala made a guest appearance as Omar's sister, and she's dating this Omar Gooding, who seems like he could be a good guy, but he's homophobic.
Yeah, he was a little homophobic.
And now he wants to propose to Lala. What's her character's name?
Polly, I think it is.
Is it?
Presley.
And unfortunately, he's giving Omar the ultimatum, I'll marry your sister, but I want you to stay away from your nephew.
Yeah. And you know, it seemed in the beginning of the season, he made it a fact that he takes care of his sister and his nephew.
Yeah.
He's always played the man role, even though he is gay. He, you know, is the
He's still
man
the
of the
father
family.
figure.
Exactly. So it was surprising to see Lala's boyfriend come in, and he first came in apologizing for his homophobic comments, which was nice, but he was like, this is not what I'm really here for.
Right.
And then when he was saying, okay, you need to stay away, I felt horrible. I felt Omar just sink back. He was lost for words.
Right.
And that ultimatum is just one that you don't want to have to face as, you know, somebody that you love, as a friend or a sibling. Nobody should have to go through that. And what really surprised me, Presley said to Omar, you know, he's a good man. Like, let it be. And I'm just like, really, Presley? Like, Omar's been taking care of you and there for you. You've seen this guy flip out on your brother with his homophobic comments, and now you're going to have his back just because he wants to put a ring on it?
That's the problem. So oftentimes love is almost like heroin.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
It's definitely a drug.
and what do you do on heroin? I mean, I don't know. I haven't done heroin, but what do I think that you do is you don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
You will do absolutely anything for that love, and that's what she's doing right now.
Yeah.
She doesn't care. She doesn't care about the family. She doesn't care about it. She just cares about the love.
Yeah.
And that's when you know it's unhealthy, and you have to get out of that relationship because, you know, I mean, heroin is an addiction, and love can be an addiction too.
Yeah.
And hopefully she'll see that. And I think, you know, just in every relationship, you know, the person who's in the relationship has to go through it and see for themselves. Omar is going to be like,
I'm going to take care of you. I'll be there for you. But Presley's not going to understand until she sees it with her own eyes. Like, hey,
well,
this
she's
is
going to
my
have
brother.
to see him do something to her son. If she sees him snap at the son, that's going to be something that
I
triggers
agree
it,
with
where
that.
Omar's going to have to step up and show, look, I'm the father figure. I will always be the father figure till you find the right guy. And this just isn't him.
I think it's either that or it's when she feels alone and she misses her brother and she misses his presence in her life. And suddenly, I mean, because that does happen. When you say, yes, absolutely, I'm just into my boyfriend, and then you never you can feel more lonely in a relationship than if you were single.
Yes.
Well, don't get it twisted though, because last episode she was still borrowing money from her brother that she didn't ask her man for. The man who's gonna propose to you, and you need help on your rent, but obviously you can't turn to him. You're turning to your brother still.
Right.
How quickly we forget and bite the hand that feeds us.
Yeah.
And so I felt insulted for Omar, the audacity of Hope for you to think that you're going to come between me and my family that I've been taking care of. You've been around for what, how long? Maybe a year at that. And you want me to stay away from them? That's and she didn't even defend it.
So, Laurel, do you have any dating rules when it comes to having ultimatums? Should you have them? Shouldn't you have them?
I don't believe in the ultimatum.
No ultimatum.
Because if you force someone to do something, maybe they will do it. They're going to resent you after for doing it. So I instead believe you should have a conversation. Say, this is where I am. I want to get married or I want to do whatever. But I'm not saying, and you have to do it. It's saying, are we on the same page?
Right, this is what
You're
I
not?
want. What do
Okay,
you want?
then I'm leaving. You have to be prepared to leave when you make that statement.
Ouch.
But it's not enough. But you do. I mean, you have to say, okay, do I want this relationship really so badly that I want to be married? And if you do so badly that you want to be married and he doesn't want to marry you, all right, well, you have to be ready to leave that relationship. But the fact is, if the dude wants you, he will show you. He will step up. If you are his focus, you will be his focus. You will be his priority.
So would we say that in this particular episode that Taylor is Malcolm's priority, since he has abided by her request and decided that he is going to discontinue relationship with Keisha?
Yes, he is.
I agree.
She is, absolutely. Yeah. And that's so weird too, because he's clearly not as in love with her.
Or in love at all.
I know.
I don't think that
possessed.
he is in love with her.
You can see, he's money hungry. That's why he's so successful. He sees this new girlfriend as a potential way to climb the social ladder and get more money.
Exactly.
Which Keisha couldn't provide. She's actually in a hole herself. She has a gambling
borrowing
problem.
money.
Exactly. So he's like, let me not mess this up. Dating has so many rules. There's so many ways to go about dating. And I know in your book you said there's a dating section. So you guys out there, if you want to grab this awesome book, Quickie Chicks to Everything, cheat sheet to love, to life, to everything you want to know, this is what you need to get. And the place you should get it at is Amazon.com. But what you want to do is you want to go to AfterBuzz TV, click on the banner at the top. It'll get you to Amazon and you'll be able to get this great book, and it'll help us come back to the studio and have more shows.
Right, and keep the lights on.
Keep us
Be able to have more guests come back.
And I also have an ebook on there
you
too.
do?
It's called
Cool.
Fit to Flirt. And
Nice.
and it's actually a free download. So you can go on there.
Everybody
and download
loves free, so
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
go to
On how to
AfterBuzz,
flirt.
then Amazon, and get that free ebook and this Quickie Chicks Quickie Chicks cheat sheet.
Right.
That is a tongue twister
I
and a
know.
half.
It's like a Cliff Notes version to life. So, you don't have to go and experience all the drama. I have done it for you.
Oh, nice.
So just go and read it, and you can, I have made all of the mistakes.
Now, have you gone through an ultimatum before? Have you ever experienced that?
I have been ultimatumed. I have not ultimatumed someone.
Because you know better.
Because, I mean, I have been in a relationship that was long, and I saw that it wasn't going anywhere, so I had to leave. But I have not. I've not.
I can
done
probably just get a million spicy tips from you. I might be using her brain in the near future.
This is a good collaboration we have going on right
We
here.
have the dating expert over here. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to read that book.
You gave us great, info about ultimatums and dating younger guys, but what about sex tapes? Because in the show, we have Shelly, who seems like this good girl who has a sex tape and she doesn't want it to come out. It got in the wrong hands. And, you know, it seems kind of taboo. She seems like a good girl, but is this something that everybody should do or shouldn't do? What are your thoughts on having a sex tape? Should you do it or not do it?
You know, I'm very much about screwing the rules. Yeah. So there is a rule about not having sex tapes. I say screw it. I mean, really.
How many sex tapes do you have?
That's a spicy question.
Tell the truth.
But I think that they are beneficial or can be in a relationship because it spices it up.
Very true.
And you have to put an effort into relationships or it gets boring.
Right.
But don't be stupid about it. So if you do a sex tape, you keep control of that sex tape.
Or watch it and then delete it. Like that's a spicy tip that I say. Have the camera ready for him when he gets home. Make sure that you have everything set up, ready to go. Then you guys watch it after you get the deed done.
And then you delete it.
Yeah, delete it.
Well, what about if you want to be like a Kim Kardashian and put it out there so you can get some fame?
Upload it on YouTube.
I don't know. It's been done so many times.
I know,
now,
but
getting
it
old.
might not.
Like,
You were gonna make a sex tape. You should have done it during the Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian era.
When it was the in thing to do.
Right.
Now it's not.
Yeah.
So.
Now,
Not
really?
so
She has a
much.
sex tape too.
Yeah,
All right.
there's an app for that now. You get, like every sex tape imaginable now.
But I do think I think it's healthy, and it's about being sexy. It's about flirting with your man. I mean, even if you've been with the dude for 5 years, do something to sauce it up, or else you know what? He's gonna go and look elsewhere. I am sorry, but you know, you have to still be sexy for him.
So there has to be the condition that you will delete the sex tape afterwards, because what happens when you don't and you guys break up?
And then you are freaking out, as Shelly was doing, which I get it. I mean, I'd be freaking out too.
Well, also, she's in a new relationship, and if this gets out, her relationship is done. She has lost all credibility, all respect in her social class, which is supposed to be, you know, top tier. And she's gonna. How do you get a man after your sex tape comes out? I mean, yes, it's done in Hollywood, but you know, the real single ladies. Come on.
It's so funny because she was like, you know, talking to Raquel, like, I gotta go get that sex tape back with the guy, I forget his name, who I did it with. And I'm like, wow.
She knew exactly.
That was a long time ago. Now she has to go through her roster of all the guys she's done sex tapes with and try to hunt it down.
And then you're stressing. I mean, you don't need that stress in your head to just take control of it, or keep the sex tape for yourself if you want to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, in your next relationship, the guy might be like, that is kind of hot. I
Yeah,
don't like that she did it with someone else, but I like how she thinks.
And it wasn't her boyfriend who she did it with, and that was the first problem. They weren't like together; they were just messing around, and she did a sex tape with him, and it turned out to be Malcolm's brother. And
who, when his house got raided when he went to jail,
stolen.
The police took the tape.
But how ironic that Keisha and Lauren London are both in the book together, that girl had threatened when she had created it. Both of them together, and they both, you know, have men that are connected with each other.
Small world there in that show.
That's why you gotta be careful with your sex tapes.
For you guys out there, please comment, rate, you know, let us know what you think about the sex tape on iTunes. And, you know, just to let you know, Apple has a new applications for your favorite iTunes podcast, and Single Ladies is one of them. Woo! So please, you know, go download that application, rate, comment, subscribe. And if you've had trouble commenting on the iTunes podcast, the new application, it's so easy to comment, and we love reading your comments. We read them.
Oh yeah, and we take them in.
We
actually address them.
We do. So leave us a comment after you download the application, and we will air it out on the next show.
If you're a quickie chick, let us know.
I've actually saw someone the other day on Twitter. It said, "I'm a wannabe quickie
That's
chick."
so
I was
cute.
like,
Don't you think that's adorable?
It was adorable.
She's a fan.
Now, how did you come up with that idea, quickie chick?
Well, I was doing quickie workouts in bed. They're real workouts that you just do on a bed, and I shot a video of myself doing
that
it.
with like your pelvis or something?
No, it's like being on a yoga mat, but on the bed.
Oh,
so
it's
it has
real working out.
It's a real workout.
I
Like
thought
you
there
can
was
lose
like
weight.
sexual innuendo implied
Well,
in it.
It's on YouTube, right? I've heard that there's millions of views for these
about
quickie
8
work.
million views.
Wow,
Whoa.
that is impressive.
It's done very well.
Nice.
Come on,
we'll have to, I know. You'll have to show us some moves sometimes.
So I did that, and then I got the views, and then I sold the book and continued developing it. Now I have a website too.
I love that.
Now, what's your website?
QuickieChick.com.
Nice.
And I have people who send me emails and questions every day on dating advice. Should I break up with my boyfriend? How do I make him jealous? How do I, burn my fat on my butt.
Us girlfriends, we're always asking each other for, different dating advice. What's the number one question that you get on your website, dating question?
Oh, probably how do I move on?
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I can see that because I think every single woman has experienced that at one point in another.
It's so hard.
Trying to get over.
And really, I mean, people say, oh, and how do I flirt? Those are the two things. How do I move on, and then how do I flirt? But a lot of chicks, they ask me, how do I make my ex-boyfriend jealous? And I say, wrong idea. If you want to actually move on, do not make the dude jealous.
Right.
Like, cut him off. Cut him off on Facebook. Block him. And you're not blocking him so that he can't see you. You're blocking him so that you can't see him.
So agree.
Yes, because
I so agree.
Okay, do we not obsess and
We do.
well, what's he doing and what are the photos? It's to control yourself, really.
Exactly.
And
I
so
agree.
block him.
Well, you do. You have to delete everything in order to not communicate with them.
do.
And you will even try to write their number down, put it in a drawer, but then you still pull it out to send a text or just something. You're always
And when you
obsessing
have
over them.
that moment of weakness or you see some new car at his house, do not text him and say, really? Well, I just saw, just control yourself. It's the one time to have self-control and then start dating immediately. Go on online dating.
A tip that we've given out that some of us have even experienced is when we're trying to get over our ex, what we'll do as single ladies or as girlfriends is we'll text the things that we wish we were saying to him to our girlfriend instead.
Yeah.
So she can receive it and respond for me. So I feel like at least I let it out as opposed to giving it to him.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So that's something that's kind of therapeutic.
Yeah, whenever you have a moment of
recommend.
weakness, call me instead.
I'll have you on speed dial.
I do. I have girlfriends they'll text me, okay, I'm on a date, and this is what he just said. Okay, what do I say back?
Whoa.
Please tell me you're in the bathroom or something, just so that he's not watching this. But
So if you had to decide which lady from Single Ladies are you the most relatable to? Who did you like the best?
I mean, I really liked Raquel, but
Oh, you did? That was your favorite?
I liked her sass, but I would not. I'm sorry, I'm not going to date a younger guy, and I also am not going to. The whole thing just doesn't do it for me. I don't know.
So Raquel, that's her favorite.
That's a good question. And you guys out there listening, think about that too as we go to a commercial break, and we'll come right back and we'll talk about it more.
Yay!
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man, no. I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AFTERBUZZ TV. And why? Because AFTERBUZZ TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows, like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AFTERBUZZ TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AFTERBUZZ TV goodness. Check them out, give them a holler, and tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
All right, so we are back here in the studio, and we are having so much single ladies talk.
Ow.
Wait, let me ask you this, Laurel. We're talking all this single lady stuff. Are you single?
Well, I'm seeing somebody.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
And he's younger. Okay.
how much younger? Hold on. You just said you wouldn't date a younger guy. How much younger is he?
It depends. It depends. I'll date a younger guy if he has if he's already at that level.
Career-wise, she was saying.
Yeah.
He has his,
And his headspace.
lined up.
If his headspace is already there. I'm not going to date a younger guy who is ready to play around. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it. But he's not at that place. He's ready to, move forward and have a life. And that's where I am.
Yeah.
So
That's perfect.
You said career-wise. Now, what if he didn't have a really great career, but you've seen a lot of potential in him? Do you think potential is a good guideline when you're dating somebody to date them or not?
I don't believe that potential is enough. I don't.
Wow, really? See, I feel
don't.
like I have all the potential in the world. I'm a great catch.
Well,
You're like, just believe I'm amazing. Just trust
But
me.
what I mean by that is I don't want to like a guy and say he could be really great. And
Right,
once he
if he
does
would change this.
exactly, and that's dudes do that to chicks too. Well, I think you could be great if you do this.
Okay,
No,
so
no.
you're talking about potential as the person and the person they're going to become, not necessarily career, or
Not
is
necess-
career too?
I mean, here's the thing about the career is that if he's right now in the building phase of his career, you are not his focus. I'm sorry, you're not. And maybe, you're the mistress to his career.
Oh, I like that.
So if that's okay with you, and if you're at a point where you're also career building, and he is, what would he be? The lover? Then that's fine. Yeah. But you have to know that he's not going to have that much time for you.
So basically, you have to play your role.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's not even
Exactly.
potential with career. There's women who will say, well, he has so much potential. If he would just be faithful to me, then we would be perfect.
If he would just be faithful,
treat me
is like
better.
the worst one on the
If he
planet.
wasn't so cheap.
Oh,
he has
my
so
God.
much potential. You
I
know.
know.
Cheating is a big topic on the show.
Yeah.
We've talked about this all the time. What are your thoughts on cheating? Do you think you should let a man cheat
No.
as long he's no?
No. I am so completely and totally and wholly against cheating, I can hardly handle myself.
Really?
How do you
Cheating.
really feel about it?
Even this whole screw the rules thing, I would think that you might be a little more open
Right,
to
or lenient, right? You would think that.
But
No?
I guess that's the one rule that I do not screw. I don't screw
You have
around.
to screw you only.
Exactly. I mean, that's what, I believe in a relationship that you should do absolutely, when it comes to sex, I think you should do absolutely anything except someone else.
So what about letting someone else into the bedroom
No.
with permission?
I don't think it's okay personally. I know other people do find it okay and they have fun with it, but what I think it causes jealousy and it causes a possibility of insecurity for the girlfriend.
Okay.
Because
I've
then,
seen that so many times.
And you're going to sit there and you're like, but you got off on when she was doing that, and my
Yes.
body's not like that, and it's
can
just,
see
it's
that.
always in the back of your head somewhere.
Well, I thought that's where they were going to go with the storyline. When Tony Rock had his girlfriend walk in, I thought he was going to say April was here to do a threesome.
Oh,
with
yeah.
us.
That's what I
But
thought
he
too.
didn't.
He said massage. Raquel's like,
I was
I'm not
like,
massaging
what?
her
Those
feet.
But they didn't tell us whether she wind up massaging the feet or not. I was
don't think
wondering.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I personally don't think threesomes work if it's a relationship that's solid. If it's playing around and you're in that phase of your life,
Yeah.
okay, good, have fun. But
No fooling around.
no. Do anything you want sexually for each other. Do the sex tape. Do, shoot a porn.
But that's later on in the relationship, right?
When you have trust.
Okay.
You have to have trust. But I mean, even if it's not later on, you have control of that sex tape. So even if it's very
If it's day
beginning, you can
two.
just delete it.
You're like, what evidence?
Trust in a relationship, obviously, we've been talking about, is a big thing. And when you're starting to date somebody, fresh off, getting to know each other, you want to build that trust. And we've seen Taylor in this episode was speaking to Malcolm and trusting him and letting him know, what's going on, what's really going on with her family, that, they're not as successful as people may think they are, that they're hitting rock bottom financially. And we've seen a very vulnerable side. Or what do you guys think about being vulnerable and opening up in the beginning when you're dating somebody? Is that something that you should do? Should you put all your cards on the table or not?
That's another instance where I say to screw the rules. And yes, I think you should be totally open on the first date. I think you should tell them exactly who you are and what you've done and about your ex-boyfriends and I just put it all out there. And if you don't like me, okay, great.
But now
I'm gonna
you know
move
who
on.
I am.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think guys actually like that. They want that raw side of you because so many chicks and dudes, they put up a front.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like,
You
well,
meet
I
their
don't-
representative first.
Exactly. Yeah, they're putting on a show. And then people say, how come I don't feel deep, first love feeling? Well, first love feeling comes because when you're first love, you talk about everything. You're raw.
Yeah.
So you're standing there with your heart open. Of course you're going to get that love because you're open to it.
Well, I thought it was interesting that although she had this vulnerable moment, it was forced not only by Keisha, but I wasn't sure if in that moment she was acting as if she really cared what he thought and that she was really being vulnerable, or if she was being manipulative. Because Malcolm, too, I thought that he was going to cut her off when he heard her talking about climbing the social ladder and how it's going to be such a great business and how it's going to give his family and her family so much clout in the world. I thought that he was going to realize, relationship isn't of substance. I still love Keisha, but instead he patted Taylor on the back.
He did.
And I was just really surprised with that. Malcolm was just as superficial as she was.
Yeah, you know, Malcolm, he's a complex character for me. We see his like vulnerable, genuine side at times with Keisha. We know he really cares for her, but again, he is so money hungry. He is so driven. And his brother was saying earlier in the episode that he's just different. That's what when people tell him no, he's going to turn around and prove them wrong.
Right.
So I think he's torn, and that's why he's still in this relationship and patting her on the back, because he does have that in the back of his mind, like, I want to be successful and almost at any means necessary.
Well, this makes me want to ask our dating expert over here, what is more important to your happiness, passion or security? Because it's oftentimes very hard to have both.
You can have both. I mean, I think we really minimize our potential for happiness because we try and force it, or we say, well, this is good enough.
Yeah.
If you're saying it's good enough, I'm sorry, it is not enough. It's realizing that you actually deserve to have absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you digest that, you will find it.
Well, there's an amazing quote, and I don't know if you guys at home watch Newsroom. We do it here or, at AfterBuzz, but you guys totally should, because the president on this show was saying he had married and then fallen in love with somebody who was working for him, and he said, "How much of a coward am I that I married her and didn't wait for you?" You know, because we do sometimes we get into relationships with people because we think this is the best that we're gonna get. I'm not gonna get everything, so let me just settle. And I think that that's what Malcolm is doing in this moment.
Definitely.
He's settling so that he can just get that clout.
And I think actually if you talk to a lot of dating experts and matchmakers, they have all of these rules that they don't follow. And the reason why they don't follow them is because the rules are safe. They're there to just be parameters, and they're there so that you don't get your heart hurt.
Yeah.
If you open yourself up, you could be vulnerable and you could get smashed to the ground. But matchmakers know there's so much more potential for deep guttural love, and that's what they're waiting for. They know you can have passion and security, and they will wait and they will look, and they know exactly what that looks like and how to find it. And that's why they don't. And that's also why oftentimes they're single.
That's why
they know that it exists.
I asked you if you were single because that's one thing, you know, okay, you're an expert. Well, you know, are you dating somebody or are you on the playing field like me?
I mean, I am a serial monogamist. I'm always in a relationship. And I recently realized that I was in relationships with people who were not right for me because I was settling, because I was forcing it. And I wanted that security, or I wanted that passion, or it was always an or. And then I would break up.
I'll compromise this.
Exactly. And then I would be upset and resentful and then break up. And finally, I've found both.
Well, isn't there the 80-20 rule where they need to at least have 80%? I'll sacrifice the 20% as long as they have 80%, right?
That's actually a really good point. When it comes, though, to passion and security, you can have both. But there are other things, there are 20% of things that dude's not going to have. I mean, he's just not. And that's why you have girlfriends.
Right.
Yes. Thank God for my girlfriends.
Because you're not
know
single,
what
ladies. Exactly. I mean, you need girlfriends to talk about shoes, to talk about shopping, to talk about, you know, emotions, whatever it is that he is not serving. You don't want him to be everything for you. I'm sorry, that is so boring.
Yeah.
It's just,
it's impossible at the same time, too.
It's impossible.
Because then you lose yourselves in each other.
Yeah. So you need to realize that perfection and that having everything is actually having everything from him, and then allowing yourself to have more life with your girlfriends.
Yeah. Totally.
Then that's a full life.
That's what we see on the Single Ladies, is they're battling these same exact issues that we deal with every single day. They need to read this book.
Yes, this book, again, Quickie Chicks cheat sheet to basically everything. I do notice that in this book you do talk about finance, and it kind of is a big portion of the book. And why did you feel it was important to talk about finance to these women who are reading this book?
I am all about being an independent chick. I mean, I think it's great.
Oh, yeah. That's the other band, the other Destiny Child.
Oh, your hands up at me.
I don't know that.
It's
we
Miss
broke out
Independent.
at the same time.
And the same dance too. I want to be an independent. I've always been independent, and I think it's great if a guy wants to support you and can support you. Fantastic. But chicks need to learn how to take care of their money.
You need to be able to do it yourself first before you depend on somebody else to do it.
Or else you're going to be afraid, and you're going to stay in that relationship for the wrong reason.
And I'm Dominican, and you know, one thing in the Dominican culture that it just stands out, that most of the men are the the providers. And in the Dominican Republic, you know, if you have enough money to provide more than one family, you can do so. You can have more than one relationship. And women will put up with it, I think, because they're financially dependent on these men. So I feel if they had a little more independence financially, they wouldn't stay in these relationships. So I do agree with you when you say, you know, it's important to be independent. But I also think that a man should be a man. Like on a first date, he should pay. I'm sorry.
I totally agree. There is absolutely no way I will ever even glance at the check on a first date. I'm sorry. It does not exist to me.
See, like, you know, I play a little game. When I go on a first date, I'll throw out my card just to see if he offers. And if he makes me pay, I feel like you're not trying to impress me. And it's not even how big or small. The bill could be $10.
Yes.
But if you want me to pay half, and it just makes me think later on in the relationship, okay, I'm thinking a little head here, but if we get married and have kids and I'm on maternity leave and I'm trying to take care of my kids, are you going to make me go to work when I'm not even healed?
40 hours.
Like,
you know,
no.
It's, first of all, I don't think that you should throw out the credit card because some guys, they'll take it because they're afraid that you're that independent chick who's going to, like, you know, make a statement. So they'll say, okay,
they're trying to be
fine,
respectful, right?
But you're actually emasculating them.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. But it's more than just making sure that he can take care of you financially, because that is, I mean.
Well, I hear men say all the time, I like when she offers. I like when she offers.
Yeah.
I don't care.
If I've gone on several dates with you, I'll fake offer, but it's never really real. I really don't. No women ever want to pay. I'm sorry. It makes the cuckoo go dry. That is what I tell everybody. It is the hugest turnoff.
But a lot of chicks do offer, and it's because they don't feel that they deserve to be paid for. It's such a, because he's more attractive, or he's better in some way, or he's more successful, and well, I'm not that great. No, you go with leading with confidence.
Well, that's one thing that I always appreciate about Keisha's character is that she owns it and she knows what she deserves. People can say that she's a gold digger, but she's really not. She has her own money. She just happens to have rich men who fall in love with her that buy her Aston Martins.
Yeah.
And so, hey, twice.
But do you know why that happens? The reason is because she's confident.
Yeah.
And because she knows it, and guys like a confident chick. They do.
Oh yeah.
And that's also why
the number one rule, right?
Yes, absolutely. Even if you're feeling insecure, fake it.
I'm
all about faking it. I have a whole thing in the book about faking it.
Hey.
And it's faking it until it's real. And that's also the thing with the money. Okay, guys find that sexy.
Where is this at? I want to learn about this
How
whole
to fake it.
What are you faking till it's real? Is it in
Not
the bed?
orgasm,
Right?
Never.
Okay. Girls do that a lot.
I know, and I think it's the wrong thing because you're training him the wrong. I mean, you're saying that was so great,
and it wasn't.
And then what's he going to do next time? Same thing.
Yep.
And it's going to be
He's
bad
gonna be,
again.
she like that, and then you're going to be disappointed.
Okay,
Exactly.
so if you can't fake it in the bed, what should you fake?
You should fake confidence. You should fake. Well, you shouldn't fake money, but mostly it's confidence and that you feel pretty and that you feel worthy. And I think that if you go into something with that, and if you don't have the confidence, I have a thing that called power panties.
Power panties?
Yeah.
What is that?
I do have them on right now. They're red.
What do they look like? I want to see these power
Well, they're red panties.
Okay.
So
Nice.
according to feng shui belief, if you wear red, it helps to improve your confidence and luck.
Oh,
in
I would wear
business,
red all the time.
Exactly.
A spicy
in
color.
business and in personal. So it's not about turning him on. These panties are not for him.
They're for
These are for me.
you.
So that I walk into that meeting or the date.
Can you have confidence and power with red granny panties, or does it
have to be cute,
because I can rock. No, let me stop.
But you don't want to be caught with those grannies on, because then that's so embarrassing. You're like, damn it, why did I wear this underwear today?
And then, and that's also when you go on a date and you're not going to sleep with the guy. You make that decision. I'm not going to sleep with him, and so you have bad panties on and you didn't shave, and then you do.
That's okay. That
hasn't happened to
a
me
good
yet.
topic. This is, a common single ladies topic. When should you give up the goods? Is first date the right time, or is that just a no? You should never do it on the first date.
That's another screwing the rules. It's whenever you feel
you're
like
comfortable.
it.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, if it's the first date, fine. If it's not for a while, fine. But here's the thing, though, is in order again to have that deep, guttural, like childhood love, it's communication, conversation. And I think one of the problems with having sex so early is we don't talk. We don't get to know each other.
You don't know who you're sleeping with.
But you all, I mean, and yeah, you might sleep with the guy the first day and the next day you're like, oh, why did I do that? And then you're over him and he's all about
and you get all emotional and you're like, your souls are connected and they're really not.
No,
you
they're
just
not.
think that. You set yourself up for failure.
And you need to talk. I mean, you get to know him as if you were in high school.
Yeah.
Remember when you had that like pitter-patter feeling and you're so excited because he's going to call you and you would spend 6 hours on the phone every night until your mom tore the thing out of the wall.
Go to bed.
And that's what it is. I mean, that's, if you want real love, you have to establish that first. And so if you're going to have sex, all right, it might get in the way.
Okay, so you think sometimes, having sex too early could get in the way of a possible good relationship?
Learning each other, probably.
Because then you're not talking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as insane as this sounds, I think one of the best ways to start a relationship is long distance.
Ooh.
Okay, so one of my best relationships that I've ever had, I've never felt so in love. It was long distance, and it was exactly because of that. We would speak hours and hours on the phone, like we were in high school. Yeah, but we really were able to get to know each other and fall in love, and then everything else was great too, but it came later.
Exactly. And the thing is, at the beginning, you don't have that base. So any of those little things that annoy you about him, they're total turnoffs immediately. All you have is attraction. The first couple dates, it's only based on attraction. So any one little thing that's not attractive, you're like, forget it.
But I would argue that long distance is really hard because you're not able to share memories and make memories together.
At the beginning,
you're just
it's good.
Telling each other what's going on in your life. You're not experiencing it with one another.
Totally agree. It's at the beginning. It's the first maybe couple of weeks or, or month.
Okay, so when you meet a hot guy you like, you should go away for a couple weeks. That way you can build that interaction.
I have to go out of town really quick.
It's just, I mean, it's only in your mind saying, I know I'm going to get to know him. I want to have phone calls. And we're so over phones right now and get back in it.
You are, the dating expert. Have you read Why Men Love Bitches?
I haven't read it, but I know a lot about it.
In there is maybe it could be considered a quickie tip as well. But one of the women, her testimony was that when she wants to get the sizzle and the spice back into a relationship, she'll go away for the weekend to make her man miss her. She's like, oh, I have to go out of town to go visit my mom, or just she'll come up with an excuse and take a vacation from each other. So that when she comes back, he's like, "Oh, babe, I've missed you. I've needed you, or where, So, what do you think about that? Do you think that's a good tip?
I think it can work unless you are a nagger, and when you're gone, he's like, "Thank God."
I didn't never want somebody to say that.
Really? Right. Exactly.
Back so soon.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think if you want to spice up your relationship, you have to start flirting with your man. It's just go out, buy that sexy panties again, go out to a restaurant, give him that look, give him those eyes, flirt with him as if it's your first date.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. Have that verbal jousting again. That's so sexy. And it's, guys like a strong chick. They do.
Yeah.
They want a chick who will joust with them and who's going to
they want you to ravish them too.
Yeah, they want you to be sexy and strong, and that's what they like. Yeah. And that's one of the things that you should fake. Even if you don't feel strong and sexy, be it. Embody that.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you are.
You said to be vulnerable earlier.
Yes.
Now, how can you be vulnerable yet strong and sexy in the beginning? Because you said be vulnerable, put your cards on the table, but
was it vulnerability or honesty?
Raw.
Just raw.
It's raw. I mean,
that's
I like that
word. Raw.
I love that word.
Spicy Body calls it raw dog.
I'm sorry, that's the best. No.
It is. It's, you can be both vulnerable and strong because you're saying, this is who I am. You're doing it confidently. You're not saying,
you accept me or
this
not.
is who I am. Oh.
April on the show, I don't think we explained it to you, but to me, she is everything that Raw would be. She, last season, was sleeping with the mayor. She cheated on her husband. Not such a great thing, but this season she owns it and she tells people this is what happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of women would try to sweep that and put that under the rug, but she just, this is who I am.
Yeah, she's
this
not
is what happened.
embarrassed.
I'm not proud of it, but this is what I did.
That's a big part of it, though. It's admitting. That's where the vulnerability comes in. I screwed up. and I don't feel good about it, and I've learned from it, and I'm not going to do it again. And this is what I learned from that experience. But yes, it is owning. I mean, I've done a lot of things in my past that I'm not proud of, and I've had a lot of relationships, and I just have to own them. And this is what I've done and who I am. And you know what's great is that's made me who I am today.
Yeah, totally. And also, too, you have to also know what you will and will not compromise. Because speaking of April, she did the same exact thing with the stripper. They just broke up. But she was like, as much as I like you and I don't care what anybody says that you're a stripper, I'm not okay with you taking money that's thrown at you whenever for, you know, female attention.
Yeah.
So she knew what she was willing to compromise and what she wasn't. She was proud of what he did, but then at the same time, she didn't like the behavior that went with it.
That's the thing about baggage is
baggage.
Yeah, there's
baggage.
but there's two sides to baggage, though. I think baggage is good and bad. I have a lot of baggage. I do. But
is it like Louis Vuitton luxury baggage?
It's both.
Or is it Jan Sport?
No, it's a lot of Louis Vuitton baggage. But the good thing about baggage, and this is also why I don't like to date younger guys, is they don't have any. And what I like about baggage is it also creates depth of character.
Yes.
And it makes it so that you understand more. You understand feelings more. You're available more, and that's because of the baggage.
Yeah.
But it's also, you have to be okay. Yes, I'm not okay with you having money thrown at you. So that is baggage that I'm not okay with. So knowing where your lines are.
Right. Totally.
What are your hard limits?
Now we can just go on for days. Thank you so much. That I'm just overwhelmed.
Oh,
I need to get this book.
book.
Yes. I'm going to AfterBuzz TV and then going to Amazon and getting this book.
you.
I will quote you on every spicy tip I steal from your Quickie Chick
What's your
book.
Twitter? We gotta follow you on Twitter.
I'm at Quickie Chick. So if you have
I love
questions
it.
or
Quickie
want,
Chick.
if you want dating. Now my video blogs and my website is actually a lot spicier than the book.
Yeah.
The next one is going to be even spicier.
Nice.
And Maricela is all about that spice.
I am. I have to read this book. I read every relationship book known to man, and I get a lot of inspiration and spicy tips from this and Single Ladies.
Yeah.
So this is the next book that I've got to conquer.
I
read it.
predict that your next book is gonna just be a bestseller. Like that's already a hit in my head. Speaking of
She has to come
predictions,
back.
I know we're gonna have to have you back. Speaking of predictions, let's wrap it up and talk about predictions on the show.
Oh, wait, we have to do a little thing.
I'm trying to learn. That's our predictions dance. Okay, so we've seen a lot of the characters on the show go through a lot this episode. I predict that Presley, Omar's sister, will go with her boyfriend, get engaged, but then soon come back to Omar. I predict that Raquel will not be going back to a little boy.
No.
I predict Keisha is, her heart is going to harden towards Malcolm.
Oh.
I do predict that. And I predict April will be getting spicy in the sheets the next episode.
You know, I like that.
What are your
I
summary
hope so.
predictions?
I'm going to have to go with the Keisha and Malcolm as my main prediction storyline. I see that Taylor is not going to be there for him. She's not going to be that down chick. And so what he thinks that he wants, he's going to realize isn't really what he wants, that he wants that ride or die, stand by your man, and Keisha offers that to him. So I think that he's going to wind up leaving her at the altar or something for Keisha.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think that Malcolm is gonna leave.
He's gonna
Taylor.
choose passion over security.
or he's gonna try and have an affair with Keisha.
Ooh, that would
be spicy.
Because he realizes that's where the passion is. And
Yeah.
guys don't always think with this head.
No, they don't.
We love your insight. We have to have you back. Please tell our viewers again, what's your site, what's your Twitter, where we can get we want it all. We want more of you.
Thank you. QuickieChick.com, and I have a lot of sassy dating tips on there at QuickieChick for Twitter and Facebook /QuickieChick.
And now those videos, are those on your website too?
Yes, and on YouTube /QuickieChick as well.
Nice. Well, we're going to have to tweet those out to everybody,
And
too.
I also, if you want videos, send me emails of what kind of videos you want. What do you want me to talk about? Because anything that has to do with screwing the rules,
Yes,
I will
we have
talk
a whole
about.
list right here. Spicy Madi, where can we keep in contact with you?
You guys can play with my Twitter day and night at spicy_Madi. That's SPICY_MARI. And you can now catch me on www.thisspicylife.com.
Yay!
It's done. My website's done. Yay. And Fallon.
To keep in contact with me, you just go to your Twitter, Miss Mercedes. That's MAS Mercedes. And I also have an Instagram that I love to play with. Thank you so much for being on the show, you guys. We had a great time. And for our host, Lauren, she's going to be having surgery. So we want to send a special shout out to Lauren and prayers with her.
Energy, all of that good
energy,
stuff.
lots of love.
Healing
Lauren,
energy.
we love you. And we will see you next week for the next episode of Single Ladies on AfterBuzz TV. Thank you.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.